Thomas took her to his place, which turned out to be a modest apartment he shared with his musician friends, all of whom were struggling financially. When Chelsea asked to use his laptop to contact her friends, he admitted he hadn't paid his internet bill. As they were talking, his friends arrived. The moment Chelsea saw them, she exclaimed, "You thieves! It's you!" They sheepishly apologized, admitting they had sold her phone and spent the money, though they still had her wallet. Chelsea sat in disbelief, thinking how cursed her luck was. But she decided to forgive them and told them to quit stealing. The next day, Thomas took her to Dao Ming's house. The moment she arrived, she met his grandmother, who welcomed her warmly and invited her in. But she warned Chelsea to stay calm and composed, saying, "God help us." When Chelsea finally saw Dao Ming, his demeanor was cold, and he seemed indifferent to her presence. He told her to leave, saying he no longer wanted to be around her. Chelsea, however, suspected he was pushing her away because of his mother. Eventually, Dao Ming admitted that his company was going through a crisis and he needed to fix things. He told her he couldn't just leave everything behind to be with her because he wasn't selfish like she was. His words broke her heart and she left feeling crushed. The truth, however, was that Dao Ming is acting this way because of his mother. The company was on the brink of collapse, and unless he married to secure her father's trust, everything would be lost. Later, Chelsea went out with Thomas, who offered to walk her home. On the way, they ran into Madzi, who had been worried sick since her phone had been stolen. She told him everything, including how Dao Ming had kicked her out. The next day, Chelsea woke up still upset. Madzi tried to comfort her, saying he knew Dao Ming wouldn't act this way unless there was a good reason, especially since his company was in crisis. To cheer her up, he suggested they go out for some fresh air and bought her ice cream. But of course, he forgot his wallet, turning their outing into a broke adventure for two. They later went to thank Thomas for helping Chelsea, despite his friends having robbed her. Madzi even insisted on Thomas and his friends to a meal. During the meal, Thomas asked Madzi why he had come to London after Chelsea. "Do you have feelings for her?" he asked. Madzi admitted, "Yes, I love her." Thomas then confessed that he too had feelings for Chelsea. He explained how the first time he met her, she had accidentally confessed her love, mistaking him for Madzi. Chelsea quickly yelled, "That's because I thought you were Madzi." She explained that at the time, she was playing the piano with her grandmother and hadn't realized who she was talking to. Then came the moment of reckoning, the bill. You all know this was bound to be a disaster. Madzi suddenly realized he had forgotten his wallet. He exclaimed, "Oh no, my wallet isn't in my pocket." Feeling embarrassed, he suggested, "How about we earn our meal instead? See that piano over there?" They started playing music for the crowd to make it through the day without ending up in jail. One day, his grandmother went to check on him and asked if he needed anything. He replied that he wanted a dish from an old restaurant. He said, "I don't know." She was about to prepare it for him, but he decided to go and eat it directly from her hands. At that time, Chelsea was on the balcony packing her bags to return to China. Madzi asked her if she wanted to see him one last time, but she replied, "What difference does it make? He abandoned me either way." Madzi hugged her, not wanting to see her in that state. Meanwhile, Dao Ming arrived and saw them together. As Chelsea and Madzi were leaving, Dao Ming approached them. Madzi, unimpressed, told Dao Ming he didn't deserve her love. Dao Ming opened the car door for Chelsea and asked her to cook for him, as she had promised. She got into the car without replying, but after a moment, she changed her mind and got out to fulfill her promise one last time. They decided to spend one last day together. When they arrived at a restaurant, it turned out Dao Ming knew the owner. She cooked the same dish Chelsea always made for him, and Dao Ming had been eating there for a while. As they sat down, Dao Ming confessed, "I've never truly tasted food or even understood if I loved the person in front of me or not. I didn't even know if I was happy or not. But meeting you changed my outlook on life. I'm not the same person I used to be, but despite my love for you, I don't know how to protect you." He then asked the restaurant owner if Chelsea could cook the recipe herself one last time. Afterward, they decided to spend the entire night together until the day was over. The next morning, as they were about to part ways for good, Chelsea couldn't resist and ran back to him. As they embraced, a man suddenly approached them and shocked Dao Ming with a taser. Chelsea fainted. When she woke up, she found herself on the floor, and Dao Ming was there. Dao Ming was lying unconscious beside her. When he woke up, he was surprisingly fine, acting as if nothing had happened. But back home, his mother was in chaos, furious, because he was supposed to sign a contract with her business partner's father that day. Why would he be kidnapped on such a crucial day? She even received a video of Chelsea and Dao Ming tied up with a ransom demand. On the island, Dao Ming and Chelsea wandered around, searching for food until they found a bag with fishing tools, a lighter, and some water. They decided to rely on themselves to survive. At night, Dao Ming wanted to keep watch in case there were wild animals nearby. Chelsea, scared, hugged him tightly. He reassured her and went to scout the area but returned quickly to calm her fears. She, worried, followed him, feeling like someone was approaching her. But it turned out to be nothing. The next morning, Chelsea woke up to find Dao Ming gone, but he soon returned. He had spent the entire night fishing for squid. While they were sitting together, he told her that he didn't deserve her and that Mozzie must have taken good care of her while he had hurt her with his words. She yelled at him, frustrated that he was acting like a fool, trying to push her towards someone else. She told him he was being ridiculous. He promised her that he would never abandon her again, no matter what. After that, they decided to leave the place and headed to the other side where they heard people talking. When they got closer, it turned out to be his friends. He shouted at them, "What on earth is wrong with you?" She had suspected all along that they were behind this, but it turned out that Mozzie had orchestrated everything. She had her bodyguard kidnap them without anyone realizing it. Meanwhile, his mother had taken things to the next level, involving Interpol and the media in the search for him. Eventually, the police found them, but instead of being in distress, they were sitting romantically in a tent as if nothing had happened. To cover up, they told his mother it was just a harmless prank. The next day, as they returned to the mainland, they were met with a swarm of reporters. It was so chaotic, they couldn't leave together. Chelsea got pushed away from the house, but she didn't leave. She was pushed aside in the crowd, unable to get through. Then, out of nowhere, a man with a knife stabbed Dao Ming. He was rushed to the hospital, and thankfully, the surgery was a success. However, he hadn't regained consciousness yet. His friends were taken in for questioning, as they were the last ones with him during the prank. When his mother arrived, she lashed out at Xiaoji for what she had done. Then, she turned to Chelsea, making it clear she wasn't welcome. Chelsea, however, refused to leave unless Dao Ming himself told her to go. His mother, exasperated, stormed out dramatically. Later, as Chelsea sat beside Dao Ming, he started to wake up. Everyone rushed in to see him, but he complained of a headache and pretended not to remember anything, though he clearly remembered everyone else, including Xiaoji. Chelsea, heartbroken, tried to remind him of their memories together, insisting she loved him and would never give up on him, even if he forgot her. She vowed to make him fall in love with her all over again. Overwhelmed, she became hysterical, only for Dao Ming to suddenly reveal he was faking the memory loss to get her to confess her love. Annoyed, she tried to hit him, but he held her hands and started massaging her back, asking her to forgive him. He shrugged it off as a small prank, but she was furious. Life returned to normal, though the media wouldn't leave her alone, as it was now evident that she was Dao Ming's girlfriend. One evening, she met up with Sherry, who took her to hang out with Dao Ming and his friends. However, Dao Ming wasn't himself. He was drinking despite not being fully recovered. Frustrated, she scolded his friends, saying, "You call yourselves his friends, and yet you let him drink like this? What if he gets sick again? I can't keep babysitting him for the rest of my life."